Bhagavad Pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge, and such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. So I'll just stop here and make one comment. Of course, it said here that about surrender, and this seems like a pretty big ask actually, because it says should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant, without false prestige. That's not generally the type of thing that we kind of do in the material world, or that we're conditioned to do, because in general. Especially in the West, that people they just want to do as they want to do, without anybody's interference. I'm free, so I can do as I like. I'm a rugged individualist, and no one tells me what to do. That's the general kind of moods that I was brought up on anyway. And so this whole idea of full surrender is almost as kind of alien. But when one practices Krishna consciousness for some time, one starts to understand that that this message is coming directly from Krishna, and we want to get the exact message. And one of the reasons, it will be explained in the next text, why we want to hear from Krishna and not from anybody else. And Krishna's preferred method of teaching this message is through his devotee, through his bona fide devotee in disciplic succession. So the bona fide devotee in disciplic succession is a transparent via medium, in the sense that he passes on the message as Krishna originally stated it. So you're getting the real thing, directly from Krishna. So that even today, anyone even who reads Bhagavad Gita, it's not that you have to be Arjuna and get the message directly from Krishna. But anybody, as this is something which is discussed earlier, anybody even reading Bhagavad Gita today can hear from Krishna directly, but we have to become a little bit qualified. So is there any comments on that? Anyone like to add anything or ask anything? No? Any statements? Anyway, you can bring up a bit later, but I just wanted to highlight that particular point. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple, thankfully. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. Hare Krishna. So again, if anybody wants to make any comment, I'm going to go on to the next verse. It's a huge topic, that one is. But it's something that we learn as time goes on, we get further realization of how that works. In the next verse, I don't know this one very well. Yajgatva na punarmohan eva yasyasi pandava yena bhutan yasheshani drukshashi atmanyatomai. And this is a very important verse because it's coming directly after this previous verse, which is a very crucial verse in Bhagavad Gita. So it said, and this is Krishna speaking, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So this is one of the main lessons that we get from the spiritual master, that everything is coming from Krishna. Everything. You know, all the manifestations of this world, everything is coming from Krishna. And as we find out in some other verses later, actually even before the 4.9, Janma Karma Chanayatya, one who knows the nature of my appearance and activities does not take birth again in this material world, but attains to my abode. So Krishna is actually giving the secret here of what the spiritual master is going to say. He's going to say that everything comes from Krishna, and therefore we have to know that as a fact. Okay, here comes the purport. The result of receiving knowledge from the self-realized soul, like one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Ma means not, and Ya means this. Some think that we have nothing to do with Krishna, that Krishna is only a great historical personality, and that the Absolute is the impersonal Brahman. Factually, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of everything. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. So we have a question today. What is our relationship to Krishna? Can anyone answer that question? What is our relationship to Krishna? Each one of us. What is our relationship? Are we Krishna? Yeah. As much as we'd like to think we are, we are the servant of Krishna. In other words, we're part of Krishna. We're part and parcel of Krishna. We're not Krishna, but we're part of Krishna. So that is one thing that we learn that's very, very important. And our existence is in relation to Krishna. So if we don't know Krishna, we really don't know who we are either. So it's so important to know what our relationship is with Krishna, because then we can really get to know ourselves as well, who we are. So it's a beautiful it's a beautiful understanding that Krishna is explaining here. So in the Brahma, even the millions of incarnations are only his different expansions. So even all the different expansions of Karma, Nrsimhadev, Matsya, Avatar, all of these are coming from Krishna. Similarly, the living entities are also expansions of Krishna, so we're expansions of Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that Krishna loses his own separate existence in his own expansions. So they think therefore that because Krishna expands everywhere, so I must have lost who he is. But no, that's not a fact. This thought is material in nature. We have experienced in the material world that a thing, when fragmentally distributed, loses its own original identity. But the Mayavadi philosophers fail to understand that absolute means that 1 + 1 = 1, and that 1 - 1 is also equal to 1. That this is the case in the absolute world. So even when Krishna expands, he's still the same, he doesn't lose. For want of sufficient knowledge of in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion, and therefore we think that we are separate from Krishna. So that's the big mistake we're making. Although we are separated parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless non-different from him. The bodily difference of the living entities is Maya, or not actual fact. We are meant to satisfy Krishna. Why? Because we're part of Krishna. By Maya alone, Arjuna thought that the temporary bodily relationship with his kinsman was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. So what did Krishna want to do just because he had this, or what did Arjuna want to do because he had this temporary bodily relationship in this situation? What did he want to do?
He didn't want to kill.
Exactly. He didn't want to kill his relatives because he thought, wow, these are my relatives. So he was thinking in terms of the bodily relationship. But all his relatives were part of Krishna, as well as he was part of Krishna. And Krishna had already ordained that these people, because they had committed so many sinful activities, they were due to change their bodily structure. And they were going to get a next body. But the next body, because it was in relation with Krishna, was actually a superior situation. But Krishna had already ordained it. So Arjuna had to then do what Krishna was asking him to do. And so therefore he was able to act. Arjuna thought that the temporary bodily relationship with his kinsman was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. The whole teaching of the Gita is targeted toward this end. The living being as Krishna's eternal servitor cannot be separated from Krishna. And his sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living entities, as separate parts and parcels of the Supreme, have a purpose to fulfill. Having forgotten that purpose since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as man, animals, demigods, etc. And such bodily differences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. So that's the whole crux of it. I know it's a little bit hard to take in all of this at once, but the problem is that we think we're separate from Krishna, and therefore we have these bodies we think that they are separate from Krishna, but we're not. That's what Maya is. So our duty and our goal is to reconnect to Krishna, which is what religion means, to reconnect. But when one is engaged in transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge only from the prolified spiritual master, and therefore avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. So what does the spiritual master know that we want to learn from him? Can anyone say? What is the main teaching of the spiritual master? And which is how we know who the spiritual master is. What is his main teaching? It's just what we were saying there. Okay, no, what's that?
Surrender?
Yeah, surrender, that's true. Yeah, that was brought up at the end of the 34th and 34th.
That we're not this body.
That we're not this body.
And that
Yes.
we're practicing of Krishna.
Yes, exactly.
And is the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant.
Yeah. Say again? De-attachment, yeah. Well, the thing that the spiritual master is going to teach us as well is that, that we're part of Krishna, and that we're not separate from Krishna. That's the main thing. That we're not separate from Krishna. That we're part of Krishna, but we're the servant of Krishna. So that's what the spiritual master is teaching. And as like you're saying, as we surrender, and therefore we surrender to Krishna in that knowledge and that understanding. So that's when the spiritual master is saying that, that's the spiritual master. So that's the main topic that's been explained. Charlie, thank you. Perfect knowledge is that the Supreme Soul Krishna is the supreme shelter for all living entities, and giving up such shelter, the living entities are deluded by the material energy, imagining themselves to have a separate identity. Thus, under different standards of material identity, they become forgetful of Krishna. When, however, such deluded living entities become situated in Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that they are on the path of liberation, as confirmed in the Bhagavad 2.10.6, Muktir Hiranyata Rupam Swarupena Vivastiti. Liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Krishna consciousness. Whew. There are two big purports, so you can take a bit of a breather and you can relax for a few minutes. But it kind of gets... Now I want to get to an interesting part, because Krishna then starts to explain what happiness is within. It's a very, very interesting part, because, it's, in one sense, I don't want to underplay what we've just discuss there, but we can say that, yeah, that's very philosophically correct. I understand it, theoretically, and it seems correct, and but I still feel a bit miserable. Why am I not feeling so good? But now, Prabhupada and Krishna start to explain what actually the goal is, what we need to start to experience, and what we will experience. Not just what is there, but this is a promise from Krishna and from the spiritual master that we will experience peacefulness and real happiness in this world. It's quite incredible the way Krishna presents this, because as living entities, we're here in this mad place, material world, and we're trying to work out, what are we doing here? What is the goal of life? Who knows about it? And but Krishna, the messages remain the same for thousands of years, but not just for thousands of years, for millions of years. It's the same message, that the living entity is lost in this material world, and that for him to lead this material world, he has to experience himself, his real self. And that is our constitutional position of happiness and peacefulness and servitorship with Krishna. So Krishna's going to start to explain this in the Bhagavad Gita now, from 36 onwards. I'm going to read the Sanskrit because I've got my glasses on and I can read it, otherwise I couldn't. Apiched asik papebhyo sarvebhyo papakrit tamaha. This is 36. Sarvam jnana plavenaiva vijinam santa ishyasi. Yishi. Even if you are considered the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. First comment to make on that. This Krishna consciousness is science, and it's for everybody. There's nobody excluded. It's there for everybody. And we should never ever think that, for some reason we cannot experience this, or we're not worthy, or this person isn't worthy, or I have to wait for so many lifetimes. Bhagavad is talking about a science. This is spiritual science, and once we click onto it, it doesn't matter where we've been or what we've done. It's a famous line from the song. And we will actually experience the pure Krishna consciousness. And this is why this is a revolutionary science. It's a revolutionary spiritual system, and it is applicable all over the world, which is, we can see how Krishna consciousness spreads. Okay, here we go. Purport. Proper understanding of one's constitutional position in relationship to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lift one from the struggle for existence which goes on in the ocean of nescience. This material world sometimes is regarded as an ocean of nescience, and sometimes as a blazing forest. In the ocean, however expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time, the most sublime. So, from the ocean example, the main thing is we have to get into the boat of Krishna consciousness. We have to get dragged into the boat. We're not able to swim in this ocean because it's a vast ocean. But there is a boat there of Krishna consciousness, and we have to get into that boat. So verse 37. Yathai kangsi samitognir bhashmasat kurute juna gyanagni sarva karamani basmasat kurute tata. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Purport. Perfect knowledge of self and super-self and of their relationship is compared herein to fire. This fire not only burns up all reactions to impious activities, but also the reactions to pious activities, turning them into ashes. There are many stages of reaction, reaction in the making, reaction fructifying, reaction already achieved, and reaction a priori. But knowledge of the constitutional position of the living entity burns everything to ashes. When one is in complete knowledge, all reactions, both a priori and a posteriori, are consumed. In the Vedas, Brihad Arinaka Upanishad 4.4.22, it is stated, Upe uhai vasa iti tarachamrit sadvasad huni. One overcomes both the pious and impious reactions of work. Hare Krishna. Can anyone explain in different language what's been explained there? And it's also in the same way as what we've been saying tonight. Anyone has a guess? What's been said there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, from what I understood from this verse is that it's a journey of one's, whether it's a devotee, whether it's a disciple or a seeker or anyone, it's a journey of sadhana wherein the practices that we follow as a part of this sadhana, whether it is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or doing service activities or offering any activities that we do as service to Krishna. And this takes us to a stage where we become deserving of that knowledge that Prabhupada is talking about in this explanation of the Bhagavad Gita verse, that we attain that knowledge that is required to basically realize oneself, and that knowledge is akin to basically destroy all the sins. And when it is sin, it is nothing but avidya, or the lack of the true knowledge. That is why we keep committing the mistakes in the cloud of ignorance. And this is what is the product or the result of the sadhana, is that it destroys the avidya and gives us that knowledge by which we realize ourselves or become merged with Krishna or become what Krishna wants us to be. So it's about the fire. The fire is nothing but it's the light. The light is the one that destroys the darkness. Darkness is where it's avidya, there is no knowledge. We are swaying in ignorance and we are living the life of ignorant individual. But it's the knowledge. Knowledge is light. Light is also, in the form of external fire, which burns that ignorance and makes us capable of, makes us deserving of that ultimate knowledge. And that itself, the experience is bliss, ananda, the paramananda, which is the ultimate bliss, ultimate ananda, and that is the experience. But that experience is also in the form of knowledge, that now I know why am I born here, what is my duty, who am I? That's the ultimate knowledge. That's what I.
Yeah, that's very comprehensive. Thank you so much. It's very, very, very good. Yeah, and there was one aspect of it as well. Do you remember when he was talking about a priori and a posteriori and what was the other word? Let's see, what was using? There are many stages of reaction. Reaction in the making, reaction fructifying, reaction already achieved. So maybe I'll ask anybody else if they could explain what that is, what is being spoken about. What are those reactions that we're talking about? It's like, as you said, avidya as well, and just kind of looking for a little bit more on the specific. What is that? What are those reactions? Have a go at it. You can only be wrong.
It's a negative karma. No?
Yes.
A priori,
Yeah.
before, not posteriori, to come for
Yeah.
generations.
Yeah. Yeah. It's It's just a slight bit more on that. Anybody else? No? It's just that the reaction, sometimes we experience the reactions now. We're currently, the reactions in our current body are here, and this is the result of activities in the past. There's some that are in the seed form, they haven't yet appeared yet. We've acted in the previous life, and they're just in the seed form. They're just going to appear in the near future. Do you know what I mean by that? Do you know that? There's something which hasn't yet happened. They will probably appear in a future lifetime. Because sometimes it takes a while for karma to run itself through. And there's also there's reactions just about to happen. We say sometimes it might be that, I'll give you an example of that. Somebody might be a very rich person, and then he doesn't know that a year later he's going to be bankrupt. And that's the result of a future, but it's just about to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So there's all these different karmas going on. So, with the fire of Krishna consciousness, it actually burns all of those things. They all get, that's what I'm saying, it's a science. That all those things are completely burned away, and that was one of the things which was discussed in the 6th canto when Ajamil was in the situation with, he was just about to be taken away by the Yamadutas to the very hellish planets, but he was stopped. And Maharaj Parikshit asked his Shukadeva Goswami, or Shukadeva Goswami asked Maharaj Parikshit, he said to him that if we perform atonement, then your sins can be neutralized. And that an awful lot of people would follow that atonement, they would do that. There's a whole process of, if you do this, then if you do that, that actually covers it, But in the in Krishna consciousness, this aspect of it is that atonement, and Maharaj Parikshit said that doesn't work, because if you do that, then you'll just do it again, because the actual seed is still in your heart to perform that sinful activity. But if you perform Krishna consciousness, then that burns away even the desire to commit sinful activity. So that's the power of Krishna consciousness, that it actually burns the desire even to commit further sinful activity. So that's why it's a completely scientific process to make things really powerful, that you can make progress in spiritual life. So yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
One Krishna says that it also burns the actions of pious activities.
Yes.
So impious, I understand.
Yeah.
Lie in the perfect knowledge.
Yeah. No, you don't want the pious either, because pious activity will actually only force you to come here again. Because when you perform a pious action, for instance, like if you help the poor, you say if you feed the poor. I'm using a controversial example here. You have to qualify it to some degree. But in the future, because you've done that, and you're just trying to help those people, you have to come back for those people to help you again. But if you're giving them prasadam to help them make spiritual advancement, then you don't, because you're helping them spiritually. So that's the way. Yeah, it's very good, because Prabhupada says it twice in that purport about pious activities. It removes both the pious and impious, because you don't want to come back for pious benefit either. Because pious activity could end up in the heavenly planets, where you're enjoying great lifetimes of many years, thousands and thousands of years of celestial heavenly pleasure. Because that's all going to end. We don't want that either. And there's even the whole section of the Vedas about the Karma Kanda section, explaining that's a science how to ensure that you keep on getting birth in the heavenly planets, but you keep on using up that karma and coming down again. So that's why Krishna consciousness is so scientific and so, in one sense, controversial, because the pious activities are obliterated as well. So.
Okay.
Die.
good. And any other comments? No. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. So we've got through you get into the boat of Krishna consciousness, and then you'll be saved from all the things going on. And then through this knowledge, all the reactions of your activities will be burned up, of your sinful activities. Okay, here we go. I have to read in Sanskrit because I think it's beautiful. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yogasam siddha kalinatmani vindati. The translation of that is, in this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So the important word there is in due course of time. And purport. When we speak of transcendental knowledge, we do so in terms of spiritual understanding. As such, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Ignorance is the cause of our bondage, and knowledge is the cause of our liberation. This knowledge is the mature fruit of devotional service, and when one is situated in transcendental knowledge, he need not search for peace elsewhere, for he enjoys peace within himself. In other words, this knowledge and peace culminates in Krishna consciousness. That is the last word in Bhagavad Gita. I mean, that's pretty definitive. In other words, the Prabhupada says, in other words, this knowledge and peace culminates in Krishna consciousness, and that is the last word in the Bhagavad Gita. So in other words, that's what we're meant to achieve, this incredible peace, despite all the different things that go on in the world. This is how we're maturing in Krishna consciousness, when we're experiencing this peace and happiness within, despite what's going on in the world. In fact, we become more interested in the spiritual dimension than we are in the material dimension. And the more that we get knowledge of the spiritual dimension, the less interested we are to actually spend time here in the material dimension. Having said all of that, we still, while in the material body, we have certain duties to perform as well. And often it is good for us to perform those duties because we're, the Prabhupada says here, in due course of time, or Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is explaining Arjuna to perform this duty. But in due course of time, he goes beyond that, You can't just stay doing the duty in this world, because this world is temporary anyway. And a real understanding is eternal. And that is what we actually practically have to experience in Krishna consciousness. It's not kind of some theoretical thing. It's not something that we learned, that this is how it should be. It's something that we experience, And Krishna says we learn it in due course of time. We will learn this. This is there for us. Krishna is promising, the supreme source of everything has set it up in this way, that this is what we will experience. So we have this to look forward to. This is what we're doing now. This is why we're doing all of this. And as I was saying there, we become more attached to the spiritual world than we do the material world. At the moment, we're more attached to the material world. I think we honestly probably would admit that. We're more attached to, our job, or our education, or family, or this or that, or whatever, and that's okay. But ultimately, we have to go through that, because these are only temporary situations. It was that we're for millions, like a million years' time, we won't know what our education was, or what our birth was, or which parent, shall we say. These are temporary things. They're here for us to learn from, but we're trying to get the transcendental vision beyond all of that. And that's what Krishna is giving. So it's an eternal spiritual knowledge for us to experience, and we can experience it here. And that's the really only place of satisfaction. Because the materialist, principally because the consumer society that's here is trying to sell us, I forget, there's so many phrases that you could use, sell you a pig in a poke or something that's said. There's just so many different phrases.
they're trying to sell us, you know, a completely, you know, a complete lie, ultimately. Even from the time you were a kid, they're trying to tell you, yeah, you get on in this world, you just get on, you'll be fine, you're a doctor, an engineer, yeah, you've studied university, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, and if you study more and more, you know, you try, and then you'll be happy, And then people get more miserable. I remember when I was in UCD there, and I had this PhD, she was a French PhD like teacher, and she was telling me, you know, this isn't all it's meant to be. She was honest, you know, actually she was honest about it. She says, I've studied for the last 14 years, and I tell you, I'm not happy. I'm just not happy, you know. And, you know, we're meant we're sold all these things to be great people in this world, and, you know, it's mainly based on the consumer society, or else it's meant that you're a great leader of your country. You're sacrificing for this, you're sacrificing this country, that's this country, that country. There's millions of countries, you know, and everyone's a great person for that country, but sometimes they're fighting each other over the being great for that country. You know, even when India and Pakistan were divided, you know, both of the people thought their people were the great people, and they're glorified, they were the rulers. But what they were doing was they were just fighting with each other. So who was right and who wasn't? You know, I won't get into the politics of it, because I know that it's a touchy thing. But that's what it is. We're sold these things when we're kids, and most people remain kids for the rest of their lives, and they remain. I mean, I saw a parade walking through Ireland there the other day that don't let people in because they're this and we're Irish and this and this and this. You know, okay. Again, there is some truths in some of the politics and all of that, but it's a complete waste of space. You know, ultimately, and. If we go down that route, we'll be dragged into, you know, more and more materials, and next life, and, you know, I'm an Irishman the next life, and I become an Englishman in the next life, or whatever, you know. You just, you know, yeah, you can relate with that. So it's like, you know, we get dragged into those things, but the glory of this philosophy is that we find out that I'm not Irish, I'm not English, I'm not this, I'm not that. And we actually experience that. We really, really experience that, you know, that it's actually there for us to experience. It's incredible liberation. It's incredible freedom. And the more we get a taste of it, the more we want more and more. And ultimately that culminates in actually learning about the spiritual dimension. And these books, more so than any other books that I've studied, give accurate, incredibly detailed information of the spiritual world, of what it's like there. I've studied quite a lot of different spiritual systems, and a lot of them come up short. They're true, I mean, they're like small dictionaries, large dictionaries, but in this spiritual system, it gives incredibly accurate explanations, and it's a science, you know. So it's found in all spiritual systems. The science is there in all spiritual systems, but it's incredibly accurate. Look at the books there, you know, and Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, 12 cantos, Chaitanya Charitamrita, 17 books, you know, Bhagavad Gita, and then there's all extra books on all of those as well. I mean, there's lifetimes of work in there, you know, but you can actually read them in this lifetime, and you know, the more that you go into it, and the more that you know, hear from souls who are realized. I mean, basically, that's what I'm kind of going to try to dedicate the rest of my life to, is to seek out these souls and find out more and just serve them as well, you know, and try to serve them and serve this message and the message that we get that's coming down in succession, just as we were talking about that video how we got to know. Because it's the message of freedom for all living entities. It's the real message of freedom where people can, you know, extricate themselves from the material world. Okay, I'll stop going on there. I'm starting to get on my soapbox. But is there any comments anyone would like to add?
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know. Earlier you read from Prabhupada's pulp that one has to pass the test of the spiritual master.
Yeah.
And in regards to test, I have a question also with
Okay.
in regards to Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So we know that in the beginning Arjuna, he refuses to fight, and he brings all these arguments why he shouldn't fight. And Krishna basically tells him where is his foolishness coming from, and he gives all the arguments and convinces Arjuna to fight. After the battle of Kurukshetra, when I believe the name was Ashwatthana, the son of Dronacharya, when he killed the remaining sons of Draupadi, and then Arjuna finally captures him and brings him back to the camp in front of Draupadi. It seems that Draupadi, and he wants to kill him, and if I remember correctly, actually Krishna tells Arjuna to kill him. But then Draupadi brings all these arguments, which actually sound the same arguments that Arjuna brought before the battle of Kurukshetra. That he shouldn't kill his Brahmana, even the son of Brahmana, or he's our superior, etc. And so in the end, Arjuna doesn't kill him, at least not physically.
Yeah.
And that was fine then. So basically, he passed the test by not killing him in these circumstances.
Yeah.
But then the battle of Kurukshetra was fought anyway, despite all these arguments. So it seems like for the battle it was, these arguments didn't apply. But then after the battle, somehow the arguments at least seems that they applied again. And so how should one know what to do in which situation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good question like that. It seems that at different circumstances, different times, we have to make different decisions, which seem to be in opposition in a sense. You know, in one instance we make one decision, and the next instance we make another decision. So in that particular situation, it's even more bewildering because further on then Ashwatthana comes back on the scene again, even though he seemed to have been killed in that sense by having his jewel taken off. But still, he somehow got the energy to come up with another Brahmastra to try to kill the last remaining child in the womb of Uttara. And so that could have been Krishna's arrangement as well, because to show how Krishna is still there, is only by taking shelter in Krishna can we be. In other words, there's a higher lesson even to come out from that again, and that was that because Uttara also had to turn to Krishna. Even Arjuna this time, they couldn't do anything really about it. The previous time, Arjuna shot the master to bring down the other one that was shot by Ashwatthana. But in the next occasion, Krishna had to go into the womb and protect. So in other words, they were finished. They couldn't do anything this time at all. Only Krishna could act in that situation. So that could be one lesson that could be taken from it, that ultimately Krishna is the one who's going to save in all circumstances. He'll protect his devotee, specifically in Maharaj Parikshit. And in other words, the whole battle, it even had to go one step further than we expected to allow Ashwatthana to live on, to make that final, heinous activity. So that would be one thing that we could take from that. Why that was allowed in one instance and not in the other. So Krishna is obviously really working in that situation. He's inspiring people in different ways. But he was very much involved in that decision, because he told Arjuna to kill, and so did Bhima. Bhima wanted to just demolish him straight away. But not only Draupadi, but the twins and Yudhishthira, they were also on Draupadi's side. They thought that through proper activity, you should not kill his Brahman like that. So in one sense, we also see that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna and not to Yudhishthira. because Yudhishthira, he failed that when he was told to kill, to tell Draupadi that Ashwatthama died. He didn't pass the test. And that's what only Arjuna, because his devotee and his friend, passed that particular test. And so that was something that happened through that. And you can see then that Yudhishthira also had to undergo another difficult situation, because at the end of the battle he was still totally depressed, and even Krishna couldn't pacify him, because he felt because of him all the 6 million, or many millions, I'm not sure, were killed in the battle, and just because he wanted to be put on the throne. So why am I like that? And he just couldn't be reconciled until Bhishma then reconciled. Bhishma told him that this is all ordained, it was meant to happen because of these different things. And of course Bhishma he should have intervened before when Draupadi was being destroyed. But so now he's the great sage at this point, but before he didn't appear to be the great sage. I know this argument is that all the blood that was drained from his body, which was being looked after by Duryodhana, when that was all removed, then Bhishma again could see clearly. But even Krishna couldn't do that, so Krishna then gave Bhima the ability to actually to reconcile it in a Krishna conscious way. And then Krishna came to him at the end, He was there with him, and Bhishma was totally satisfied, completely satisfied. Yeah, so that would be some kind of response on that anyway. Anything else that you thought of?
I was wondering how one should know or can know how to react in which situation. If in one situation it was right not to kill the person, and in the other situation it was right to kill. So, but as you said, that it's Krishna's arrangement. So I guess if you are in connection with Krishna, you will probably know what to do.
I think that's it. That's really the answer. All right, yeah.
That's what Prabhupada said.
Yeah.
He who knows, knows.
Yeah. I mean, it's and Krishna says, "One who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost." Everything. So we have to really be with Krishna in that sense, or with the spiritual master as well. With the spiritual family of Krishna is true. And so these are ways in which we're able to say what to do and how to do it. And oftentimes the famous Shakespeare statement, from wrong directions find directions out. Sometimes we have to just make a mistake, and then see the lesson afterwards. Subsequently, you might not see it at the time, and then we get more accustomed to being able to recognize Krishna difference. We just become more expert. And sometimes Krishna just, he may put us through something, and it may not be very flattering for us. I've kind of experienced that a few times as well. So Krishna wants to see how surrendered we are. We all want to do things to surrender, so we'll be looked upon as a great guy. I'm a great servant of Krishna. But sometimes Krishna might make an idiot of you, just because, no, you've got a bit of false ego to get through there, let's see how you deal with that. Do you know what I mean? It's not always that we're doing what Krishna wants us to do, and therefore we come out smelling roses. Does anyone know that phrase? Come out smelling roses. It's not always that way. Sometimes, it's because Krishna's in control. That famous verse is in the 8th one in Shikshastika. You can make me broken-hearted by being with me, or really crushing me in that sense. And that's the actual level that we have to get to know. And it's some level, So it takes a while to get there, but it can happen very, very instantaneously as well, 7 o'clock. Oh my God, it's just there.
I'm just going to read
Thanks everybody for participating. It was really good. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to read the last.
A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses, so he's dedicated to transcendental knowledge and he subdues his senses, is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So this is all, it's all emphasizing how we actually experience spiritual life, you know, that this is a tangible thing that's there for us if we practice Krishna consciousness. And as Krishna is saying, and the purports of these are brilliant. If you get time yourself, read them, 239. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness, and they fall down. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. One who acts in listen carefully to this. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of work, or conquer, or riches. And then the final verse in it is, therefore, this is a good one, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed with the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand and fight. So any doubts we have should be slashed with what? The weapon of knowledge. Jai. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Hare Krishna. So now we're going on to the next part of our program, which is the Kirtan. So I'm going to ask Jayananda to lead the way. I'm going to head over after.
No, that's for the leader.
I can.
You have a few minutes numbers at the end. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, 48 hours. No,
48.
48 seconds. No second. Hour. He was on a charity, you see. As a night.
40? Which one you wear?
No, 4 hours per day. Himself. Next, so much.
Hare Hare Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Maybe I can.
Можно так, чтобы она нажимает, что один звук называл, не два? Не залипает и
He wants to one case.
I think of this one, it might break if you
А,
yeah, sorry.
вот эта штука.
Не-не-не.
Тут.
Эти.
Hare
Hare
More like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, try.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Lucy. कृष्णदेव भगवान की श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय गौर प्रेम।
Hope so. We need to stop this.
Do you wanna sit? Or should we go?
Can you disconnect?
No sharp.
You can just stop.